Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Chris's Collectible Corner, and for those of you who are new, thank you for coming through to tune in for this review. And today we're taking a look at the K.W.Studio Cell Juniors plus their accessory pack. But before we get into the figure itself, if you wouldn't mind, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification to be notified when new reviews are uploaded to the channel. It really helps and I appreciate the support. Alright, we're taking a look at the packaging. There's really nothing much to say about it. It's two black boxes, one bigger than the other, has the K.W.Studio on the front of them with a little glossy look to it, plus the little serial numbers to identify one from the other, and that's really it. So now that we got that out the way, let's take a look at the figures themselves. Alright, so here we have Cell Jr. standing straight up and down in the light box. From head to toe, he stands at 3 inches tall, so he's the same size as the Dyma figures. Now this package comes with 3 Cell Juniors, but I didn't see the point in putting all 3 of them on the rotating stand because they're practically all identical. So now going based on first impressions, this guy looks pretty good and how I remember him in the series. But in order for us to get a better idea of how he looked, let's bring in a screenshot that's directly from the show itself. So here we have the Cell Juniors when they first appeared during the Cell games, and yeah, I mean, it looks pretty accurate. The colors are pretty much the same. The only thing that I would say that maybe the colors are a little bit different is in the joint areas, like the shoulder, behind the knees, and like the wrist. They're like a bit of a brighter purple, where in the anime they look like it's a bit darker, like a darker grayish blue. But that's really nitpicking because in the anime it could have just been that dark because of the shading, because those are in the crevices and the way how Cell was designed. He has these kind of like protruding pieces coming off his limbs. But yeah, all in all, I think these guys look pretty good. And man, I remember when these guys first showed up on the scene and Cell shitted out like 7 mini versions of themselves. Man, they were giving the Z Fighters the business. They messed up Krillin, like always. Krillin always gets fucked up. They broke Yamcha's arm. They were beating the hell out of Tien. And Goku was still weak from his fight with Cell, so he was getting the business too. The only ones that were really standing a chance was Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo. And Piccolo was doing the most work. So it's kind of crazy that these guys were like practically Super Saiyan level strength, just mini versions of Cell. But enough of the series, because we've all seen it. If you're here, you're a fan. So just looking at the figure himself, just looking at the proportions, I think they nailed it too. The proportions on him are really nice. He's not too thin, he's not too thick, or like stubby or chubby. I feel like he's like the right balance, and it really does look like a kid version of Cell. And I really like how they got the little spots all over the body. Obviously those pieces are not individually painted. I think they're screen printed right on there, like with the mold, and you know that makes complete sense because that would be a pain in the ass to kind of paint all that. But yeah, all in all, I think this guy looks pretty good, and this gets me even more excited for their perfect Cell that they're set to release at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And I mean, we recently just got reports as of the recording of this video that Studios canceled their perfect Cell due to the current economic environment. But also the other word that's going around is that because of all the negative feedback that they received from collectors. And guys, I get it, we spend our hard-earned money on this stuff, but we can't just attack everybody. We have to be constructive because at the end of the day, they're trying. And I get it, they were a new third-party studio and we want the best product, but there's a way to go about things, and at the end of the day, there's still people behind these projects. But that's the end of my PSA. Now let's take a look at the accessories. Alright, so he comes with 7 different faceplates with different expressions in total, excluding the faceplate I had on the Cell Jr. that was already on the rotating stand. He has 6 different expressions here, one looking to the side smirking, another looking to the side with a stern face, a worried look with the teeth gritted, a shouting face, a screaming face like he's in excruciating pain, and another silly face where he's sticking out his tongue. So these are all really nice, and don't mind if they look kind of funny because obviously you have to plug them into the helmet, so this way it kind of completes the look. The only faceplate that I wish they included with this was just one stern, straight looking face. And I know I'm always complaining that we don't have more unique faceplates, and this one gave us all of that, and now I'm asking for like the most vanilla face, but it just would have been nice to have. Then they also come with 6 different pairs of hands and a key blast effect for a Kamehameha wave or whatever you want to call it, and then these other little pins that are made for the feet, because I saw some people are having QC issues on the toe hinge where these little pins fall off, and I think they knew that, so that's pretty cool that they gave us some extra ones just in case those got lost. So So the first pair of hands are more like karate chop hands, but he has really sharp fingernails. And I'm happy they included this because I'm not sure if you guys remember this, but there was a scene where Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 and one of the Cell Juniors was holding Krillin hostage, and they kind of put their fingers to his neck and the nails became like super sharp. So I'm happy they added that. We have a pair of middle fingers, because, you know, Cell Jr. is all about attitude. Then we have a pair of like open palm hands, but they're more kind of like silly, and I think they're supposed to go with this face. Then we have another pair of open palm hands, but the fingers are like slightly bent. Another variation of the same hands, but the hands are just a little bit more open. And then another variation of Ki Blast hands, but this time they have the peg in them, so this way you can hold that Ki Blast that comes with him. He also comes with a stand, and the stand's really nice. It actually has ratcheted joints, so it holds really nice. And then looking at the accessory pack, he comes with an additional 3 heads. Not sure why, because we don't have 3 additional bodies to put them on. One crazy battle damaged head with the brains all leaking out, the eye popping out. Another Ki Blast effect with some added effects to it. Some hands for the SH Figuarts Teen Gohan, so those pair of hands are so that you could put the Ki Blast in there, and another one holding the Senzu beam bag, and then these other damage effect pieces, so this way you can put that on the torso of the Cell Jr. for when Gohan chops them in half. And it looks really nice when you put it all together. Just be careful when doing so, because all these pieces are so tiny and small, and you can actually lose them. I mean, I had that difficulty, and I had to like look around my room with a magnifying glass because I lost one hand, but I was able to find it. Alright, let's take a look at Cell Jr.'s articulation. Let's see what they can do with such a small figure. Alright, so we're going to start with the head, but let me get the focus right first. Sorry. Alright. So, can't really look up much. Can look down a good amount. Side to side. Tilt. Very good. As far as the arms. Let's see. Okay, if you push too much, it pops the arm out the socket. It's back in though. So you probably just gotta finagle it a certain way. I don't know, it seems like it was better on this arm than this arm. Maybe there's something here I'm not getting. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, it just keeps popping off. But, alright, you know, I'm not gonna push it. So, they're both about the same, just under 90 degrees. He has good shoulder rotation, but pops out again. Alright. Like I said, this is a really small figure, so let me just, give me a second, let me fix this. Alright, we're back. Just be careful on how you handle it, but shoulder rotation, you can go all the way around. Same with this one. Oh, that one's a little tight, but alright. I'm not gonna tempt fate, just got this guy. Alright. Elbow bend. 90 degrees. So it's not a deep elbow bend, but you know, it's decent for what it is. And he has bicep rotation, which is crazy for such a small figure. Alright. And I think he has forearm rotation too. I think. Don't quote me on it. Yeah, he does. There we go. Forearm rotation. Pretty nuts. Alright. Ab crunch. Does he have any? Not really. But that's really because of the design of Cell, so doesn't really like enable for it. Can't really lean back either. But he can rotate at the waist. So that's good. Alright. As far as the kicks, he can kick at a pretty good height. Get that right there. Nice deep knee bend. There we go. Some thigh rotation. And as you can see here, little toe hinge. Feet can come down a little bit, go up, and very little side to side, but yeah. And then along the back, we have his wings, so those are articulated too. So you can move them up, outwards, put them in. So yeah, for something this small and for a third party, His articulation is pretty decent. So I'm not gonna hold it against him too much because he's such a tiny figure. So the fact that we get what we do with this is pretty great already. Alright, now for some comparisons. Here we have him next to the SH Figuarts Blood Awakening Super Saiyan Vegeta, and I feel like these two scale really nicely to one another. Here we have him with the brand new The Games Begins SH Figuarts 3.0 Goku. And once again, I feel like he scales really nicely to the Z Fighters. Here we have him next to the Tonson Art Kid Buu, and I didn't realize how small Cell Jr. is until I put him next to Kid Buu, because Kid Buu is already pretty small on his own, so the fact that Cell Jr. is like half his size, like he's really tiny. And then here we have him with the full power 100% Frieza by SH Figuarts. And then here we have him with the guy who murders all of them himself, the Teen Gohan by SH Figuarts. And then last but not least, here we have him with his father, the Perfect Cell. And look, I still think this cell is pretty good, but we're in dire need of a new update because he's a little too thin. Cell needs to be a little bit thicker and a little bit taller. So I'm really curious how they're going to implement doing a 3.0 cell as well as K.W.Studio. I'm really curious how that's going to compare to this cell. But alright guys, so that was my review on the K.W.Studios Cell Juniors and Accessory Pack. I got mine off a Hobby Model store. It came out in total to about $113 after shipping and taxes, but the separate prices for the 3 cells was $77.76, and then the accessory pack was $21. So basically altogether about $120 when you take into account shipping, taxes, and the tariff fees. If you guys are interested in picking these guys up, I'll put the link in the description below because they're still available on that website. Now, that aside, overall, I think these are really great figures. I mean, if you're going to break down the pricing, we basically get a Cell Jr. for $25 a piece. They're really well sculpted, really nice detail, tons of accessories. I think the only drawback for me is they are limited in their articulation because they're so small, and also because the design of Cell. It definitely has some limitations. But that aside, I mean, these are the only Cell Juniors that we have on the market until SH Figuarts decides to give us one, and even then, it might not even be articulated. But I could be wrong because, you know, seeing K.W.Studios do it might push them to do one themselves. But that aside, as you guys know, I usually rate these figures from a scale from 1 to 7 using the Dragon Balls and the Dragon Radar. So, with that being said, I'm gonna give this guy a 5. I was leaning more on a 4 because there are obviously some QC issues when you move them around, and the tiny pieces that could get lost, as well as like the little pegs falling at the toe hinge. Me personally, I didn't have that problem, but I did have some of the joints popping off because of the limited articulation. But when I really think about what you're getting for the price, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, we've had worse for more. And I know that's probably not like the best cosign, but still overall, I think these are great figures. You just have to be careful of how you handle them. But you guys let me know in the comment section below. Are you going to pick these guys up, or are you going to pass on them? With that said, I hope you guys found this review informative. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to be notified when new reviews are uploaded to the channel. Thank you for stopping by my corner of the internet, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.